Hey everybody, I'm Christy with Christi Creations, and today we are going to start on my travel journal companion and make it. So I'm actually starting on the outside first, where we're a little bit building just the outside in the casing. So that has an outside and inside variant parts that we're going to work on together, but that is all we will be doing in this particular video. I'm breaking this down in multiple videos, so it goes a little more smoothly. I personally am going to be using a bone folder. This piece right here I use to help smooth sometimes. I don't know actually the technical term for it. I may use some liquid glue, but I have my two go-to stick glues. I have a tape runner set to the side, and then I have double-sided tape sitting here that I'm more than likely going to use on this to make sure it sticks good. Because as we work on this, as you fold, you're going to create weak spots. As you can see, they will slowly develop. And you'll, simple, easy, just go add some more glue inside that and press down. No big deal, it's fixable. But we want to try to create where we don't have that burst off and burst on. So, depending on if you are in a class with me or have a kit, we're going to want the outer components first. So that is a flap, one without a tab, and one with a tab. If this is all for my old world style one, you'll notice the inside has some signage imagery on it, where the outside does not. If that helps y'all at all, if y'all pre-cut everything and now questioning what you're needing to do. Do leave the gray tabs, please. You will need them. So you have two options here. You can fold now, or you can fold later. Some people say folding early helps, other people do not. With my workspace, and depending on your workspace, folding now is actually going to be helpful. But however, when we work on the inside, we're going to have to leave it laid out. Yeah, the downside, because you want that laid out and glued good before folding again. So, I'm going to just talk before I start doing things, and I'm going to use my bone folder as a pointer. I never knew it would come handy with more than one thing. You see some dark lines in multiple spots on all of these things. Those are what we're folding to make our spines. So I'm going to start with the, I want to call it an envelope thing, but it's what you open the journal with. And so we have to fold right on the gray and right next to the decorative to where you have the spine available. So let's get that folded. And you're folding inward to the white. Now, I will have, if you have bought this from me in person, online as a kit, it's already great and on a good cardstock. The cardstock I use is 110 pound. And below in the description, it will be listed just in case you need to have access to that file, that type of paper. Alright, so I got the first part folded. Even though we don't need that right yet, it will help later going down the road, because instead of folding in them through two thicknesses of 110 pound, you already have one pre-creased, which does really help our time saving abilities. Now you have a choice if you like adding ink to the edges or not to do so. And then you need to decide what color ink as well. I would do a really rusty brown or a black, truthfully, because that is to me the old world style, or more vintage style, if you want to add to it. Because if you're like me, cut jobs are not always perfect. You can either go back and trim, or the ink takes away all those issues. I'm next going to grab I'm calling the middle. It is called panel 2 and 3. And we have fold here, 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 and here. So I'm going to start in the middle and then do the edges. I'm trying to remember to stay on screen. I have a horrible habit of getting off screen on y'all. I know. It's something I forget. The camera cannot move with me. And I do apologize for that because I will do that multiple times no matter how hard I try not to. There we go. Now let's get this part and this part folded as well. Basically, this design is a lot of folding and a lot of gluing. And there's some component areas you may want paper clips to hold or clips to hold as well. In class, I'll have a mix of paper clips and clips to, for y'all to borrow, but in person at home, use what you have. You have a laundry clip. Guess what? It works as a clip. Anyway, let's get this last one folded. Sometimes it works if you start outwards in, and I forgot that. That's okay. All that matters is if we get it folded. Alright, so now this one's folded and kind of gives you a base idea. I'm just going to put this top one on top of it. But we are missing one more piece into this, but that is starting to show you the shape. Like I see one little spot. I am going to take a second to trim because that one is going to bug me. And I did not bring ink to cover it up. Some people say ink is just to cover up the flaws of our cutting. I don't know for sure. That's how I would look at it, but for them, good for them. That's a little better. I'll trim a little more later. I'm not gonna be a billion times picky if I can help it. That was just a little bit more than I wanted to see, and I was being a little picky. All right, now we have the panel 4 and 5 to fold. We're just gonna do the 2 black lines only. Not the best fold, but it will work. All right, now we have all of our units folded. I'm going to be using a cross between double-sided tape, and normally I would use my mono glue stick. Today I am going to use magic blue. The reason for this is I want y'all to be able to see what I am doing. The difference between the mono and magic blue, they both dry clear, but one goes on clear, one goes on blue. So I'm going to use this to help you see exactly what I am doing. It is a great glue stick. I just have always been partial to the clear sticks. There is nothing wrong with this one. It's just preference. But for teaching purposes, this is what I'm going to use. So we have panel 4 and 5. And now we are going to glue one of those. And see, I'm going to show you something here. If you look closely, this has writing here, that has writing here. But this one has the writing in the opposite direction for some reason. I don't know why I did that. So if you want to match the writing, either way is going to match writing up. And what I'm going to do is I have very cheap Amazon double-sided tape. So it's not like the score tape or the red tape, which you might need scissors for. Mine, I can literally reach, tear, and don't have to worry about having that little extra stuff of scissors, which I do have scissors literally dedicated just to glue. And somebody recommended recently to me that I'm going to look into is non-stick scissors. I had never heard of them before, but I will be definitely looking into that. I also have a little pick. These are normally used when you're working with your die cuts to pop the piece out. But I've learned another trick with them. They make it so much easier to peel your double-sided tape up. And it makes one less thing for me to have to fight doing with short to no nails, depending on if I have cut my nails recently or not. Now, even though I have, besides we're trying to put my little decorative piece on there, put glue on, I'm going to put a little glue. Even though there's tape, there is some places I missed. I know it. So I'm going over. I'm working on a silicone mat, so I don't mind if I get it on the mat. And I'm just going to put some tape like that. And I'm going to rub that off. And as you can see, it doesn't really stick on my hands, thank goodness. And yes, I'm getting black from all my foldings. Then here comes the hard and fun part at the same time. Lining this up to match. And as soon as you get a good line, I will use either my bone folder or this piece right here and make sure I have it creased down. I will then also flip it over and crease it again. And see, this is one downside of working on a mat. Sometimes you get residue from other things on it as well. But that is okay. I'm being very careful. The good news though is since we pre-folded, we can knock out half that's already folding up. So we can kind of, now you know where you're going to slide that, and you can kind of see your design fold together. Like so. So we're going to do the exact same thing where we're going to double side tape. And then we're going to connect it to the other one. I try never to waste tapes. I had this piece right here, but it's not quite where I want it yet. I'm going to pull some of the other tape first, and then I'll add that to it. So on my little, I'll show you right now. I have a 3D printed stand that I'm pretty sure different vendors carry. I do not. I bought this one. And I will stick my extra tape to it. So when I need a smaller piece, I can just reach and grab. Like this one, I won't have as much left over, as you can tell. But I do need to tear that little bit off, the edge there, like so it'll even up. That one is a little too small to reuse. So another thing I keep is just a pop-up. This one is actually from Creative Memories, and a link will be for it down below as well. And I just drop it in here, and later I'll pull it out and throw it away. Instead of having to have a trash can right next to me, I don't have to worry about it. I'm good to go. I'm able to keep working and keep my area clean, which is always, when you're working, a plus. Another cheat I do, I have a different bag for when I travel, but when I am at a workstation, this spins, so it holds everything I might need while I am working. And again, it'll be in one of my favorites down below. I'm slowly trying to remember add things that I use to the favorites. Unfortunately, I have not found someone yet to add this to it, so you'll have to hunt for this one on your own. And we just fill that up just like that. And I'm going to chunk those in the trash. Now, something I do, well, I lost it. I normally keep a little tab over this, and I thought I had put it in a different spot than I did, but oh well. Now, again, we're going to add a little bit of glue. Enough about me showing you some products I like working with when I'm working. Okay. And you see how easy that little bit of mess up was to wipe off? Because you could see it before it dried. Now I'm just going to take this and I'm going to do my best to line this up again. I know I'm slightly off screen, but I had it lined and I didn't want to move it and mess up my alignment. Alright. Oh, I did find it. So when I'm not using this and I'm storing it, I have a little ear backer that I keep on that, so you don't poke yourself as bad. So this is how it'll look. This is going to be the base outline. I'm going to show you how to add the inner, but I'm not going to fold it because it's going to have to sit and dry. I'm going to at least let mine dry 20 minutes before I start folding it. So I will show you how. That's what I'm showing you now is when you get ready to fold, you'll follow the outside creases and refold everything. And that will create your shell. But because I want to leave it out, like I said, to let it dry, because if you look at this one here, I learned that lesson by not letting it dry enough. I had to come back and add some glues into a couple spots, which may happen over time no matter what you do. But the longer you give it to dry before you fold it, hopefully the less likely it is to creak. And so that is why I wanted to teach you all the folding parts ahead of time. I do not bother pre-folding this one. It does not seem to be a need to, so I have not done it. We actually have to start the opposite of the way we did before. So we're starting at the top where we have the black open, envelope style open, whatever you want to call it. We're going to line this up and we're going to glue it down. And we're just going to leave this laid out where it keeps going over and over again. Now, right here and right here, I have 4 different sizes of double-sided tape, and it's being a pain right now. I am peeling one of my bigger pieces off because it will nearly cover the seams for me to help me give a good so that went out a little. I'll just fold that back in, and then I did not quite pull enough to do the seam here, so I'll have to double it up. And yes, I know that some of this will be showing and we'll have to reuse covering it later, but that's okay. I'm not worried about that right now. I am going ahead and pulling the tape up before I put a little more tape down in a couple spots. As you can see, I'm off screen right now while I'm pulling that one up, because you cannot see the tape. You can hear where my fingers are sticking, and that is it. But I'm choosing to do this. This is also where I would normally use my tape runner. But I'm learning a lot of people prefer double-sided tape to tape runner. Now though, you are going to see me use my tape runner. Because something I can do with this, or if I had score tape would work too, more so than these. I want to go more around on the edges here to cover that up. So as you can see, there's a little bit there. And again, I'm using the mono recycled. It's not, it's a refillable one, so I like grabbing it. And that's why I use it. But we're nearly to using our glue stick. Let me get the last couple pieces of tape on the edges. This tape is semi-forgiving. If you go wrong, you can pull it up slightly and angle it, but it's not a good thing to use on curves. I'll tell you that now. All right, got that one pulled up. That shows you why I prefer using the other. Now, I'm going to take my glue stick. Even though there's some tape in places, there's double-sided, you know, everything, I'm going over it all. I'm not taking any chances that where I'm about to put something down, there's not something for it to stick to. Now you can see why I'm using this instead of my normal go-to. Is you can see it a lot more clearly than my favorite go-to. And I'm praying I'm putting this down correctly, because sometimes I have a little wiggle room, sometimes I don't. And it's down. It is slightly off on the top for some reason. Let's see if I can pull it up. Okay, today it gave me wiggle room. And it may be because I'm using a different tape than I normally do. Okay. Let's try to line the top a little better. Okay. Now this time I am gonna, I think it's because I put the tape, the glue stick, which I normally don't do, over the double-sided tape and things. That gave me that chance to let it wiggle. But now, like I said, that is going to sit for a while and dry. Now, if I was using zip dry on the edges, which is not normally used for glue and for paper, I wouldn't worry about that. But I am not, so I am. We're now using panel 2 and 3. We're going to do the exact same. We're going to prep it and push down. But here's the thing. I can prep it all one go, or I can prep in more than one stage. This time I'm prepping in more than one stage. I'm going to put some more double-sided tape, and I'm going to do the same here. And that is as far as I'm going to go before I stop and do the other half after I get it down. If I can even tear my own tape. As I said, I didn't bring my glue, my scissors that are stuck with all sorts of different cuts. I normally use it for foam tape. I'm now thinking I may be adding it to this little pocket where I have a spot where I can add it to my tape here as well. Okay. That is down, and we can definitely see I do not have enough for that side. I am going to actually use it on this side right here then. Pulling again. Putting in the center. I did go a little sideways on that, but that's okay. Okay, that got pulled. And put a little here, and I'm going to get it just a teeny bit more to finish that off, and then we will pull those off, glue stick it, and start again. This time I'm not going to use my fingers to try to pull off the I'm going ahead and just make it easy and use this little piece here. And I'm sticking to my own project already. I do that a lot though when I'm working with tapes. Well, any of it I actually stick normally. Trying to find a spot that's stuck down so I can pull. There we go. Now, just like before, I am going to run on even on the edge. Make sure I have everything covered to where I had planned to glue to. Only right now. And yes, I'm probably going overboard on the glue, but since I'm planning on opening and closing this 100 times or more as I travel, I'm hoping it'll hold up for that long, truthfully. All right, we're gonna line this up to the outer edge here. Then I'm gonna make sure I go straight across, press down, and that one actually, again, did not go on as evenly as I thought it would for some reason. I was just slightly off on my edge. And you don't have to be perfect, especially if you're using inks. As I am not using the inks, I'm trying to be a little more careful with my lining. I may have to go add inks later, but we'll see. But that is down. Now we have this half to do. Now I'm going to show you. I'm not going to use the tape runner because I was going to show you how to do it with just a glue stick, but that's going to make it dry even longer time frame. Pull those. And I'll do one more tape here in a second after I get these two pulled. The catch is I'm also having to hold this paper back. That is the only downside of what I didn't think about. Putting the tape first, which is something you might want to do. Just don't peel it. Unless you're using a tape runner, then you'll need to wait. And then instead of pulling some more, I have some odd and end pieces. I'm sitting here. I'm just going to grab those and drop those in. I always forget to tell people, if y'all are wondering, I am left-handed. I don't really know if it bothers people, but some people always ask, so I forgot to say that at the beginning of the videos. Yeah, one more to peel up. Then we'll run the tape real quick, and then we'll run the glue stick. Luckily, I'm kind of bending on a seam, so I'm not feeling as bad as if it wasn't a seam. Okay, let's pull this down. Okay, we have one more to do, and then we'll wrap up this video because I'll have to let this dry for a while, and when I come back it'll be pre-folded. But I'm going to show you with the finished piece that's completely done how to fold one more time, just so y'all know. Now before I put this down, I am looking at the way I have my design going. because even though you're not going to see all of it, you're going to see partial of it, so I want them all the same way. That is just me. That is not something you have to do. That is all choice. But with it basically, you can do opposite of this one here if you wanted to see something differently. All right. This one, I'm just going to go ahead and do the whole thing. Now, I do have red tape and score tape, but I'll be honest, I just got those, so I'm using what I'm used to. In time, I will probably start showing you them and teaching with them. But I'm also thinking about the hobbyist, or a family member who just wants to make something fun for multiple people on a road trip. That is a little cheaper than going out and buying a ton of stuff. You could technically use Elmer glue and the regular glue sticks you can buy at any of these store places. Just because I prefer certain brands do not mean you need them. And something I always want to make sure I cover, because I get to thinking, I'm recommending all these things and I don't want people to feel they have to have these style of things to make things work better. It's just my preference. Now, I'll be honest, I did test several different variations, including my class kits have different, what more likely you would buy on a budget than what I actually use here, because I want to make sure y'all don't feel like y'all have pressure to go out and buy stuff. But I also do talk about the different things I use in class for those who want to know what would be better to go out and buy. Right now I'm pulling up all the tape backers, so I'm using on the double-sided tape. Which is sometimes easier said than done. Have 4 more pieces, and then we will add the glue, and then we'll set this to the side, and I'll show you how to fold with the finished one, just so you know what you're doing. And we'll have it ready to go for the next video, which will be on how to make the outside envelope. I'm choosing to do this in sections because sometimes you want to, so while you're waiting on this fold, you can go ahead and watch the envelope or making the journal. So you don't have to worry about constant just waiting for something to dry, because nobody wants to sit here for 20 minutes waiting for something to dry. And that includes me. I'm going to carefully come up here and run that across on the edges. Now, if you don't have a silicone mat, but you want to be able to do like I am and not worry about going off the edges, I am going to recommend go into your kitchen, get some foil or some parchment paper and glue on top of that. Also, a plastic placemat would be good to use as well. Okay. Let's get this last one in. And I'm pulling myself back up before I push down, as I go off screen again. All right. To my best of my ability, I have done everything correctly. Now, it's time to let this all dry. So, let's pretend I have one that I have not already completely decorated out. We will start from the base, and you'll have those two lines from the outside that we already pre-folded. You're going to fold those, the outside back inward. And that is what you're just going to keep doing over and over until, and including down the envelope. Then you can go ahead. I would wait until I get everything in before putting your Velcro on. I want to thank you all for joining me and for the other parts of this videos. Thank you. Oh, also please like and subscribe. Bye everybody.